Hey guys, Mary Meet, and welcome to this episode of Bewitching the Moon. And today we are experiencing the full moon in Gemini. And the actual time of the full moon, this is December 13th, is 7:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is now 7:10. I am filming this just past the full moon. I'm sorry. I intended to get up and get started and get this going this morning so I could have it filmed, edited, rendered, uploaded by the time the full moon happened, but it just did not happen that way. My intention for this lunar cycle was to enjoy the holidays, and that's actually a little rough for me for various reasons. We've had a lot of people die around this time of year. Finances always suck. We're broke. Just for various reasons, we never have great holidays. I really wanted to change that this year. I don't know, things have been mellow. Things have been, kind of cool. We've been trying. However, I don't know, the fibro has been kicking my ass. When the weather changed, I've just been in crazy amounts of pain. So, so I've been trying. That's all I can say, is that I've been trying really hard to enjoy the holidays. We did go to a little holiday parade in my town, in the old town part of my town. We saw the Budweiser Clydesdales. It was kind of cool. We had to walk so much that I was in bed for 2 days after that. I was just miserable. So there's a trade-off, It's like I can do lots of fun things, experience lots of fun things, really, try, but there's an equal and opposite reaction in the way of pain, and then the depression from the pain. So anyways, long story short, I don't want to get into it too much, but I've been trying. My intention was to enjoy the holidays, and I'm working on it really hard. So next weekend we are going to IKEA, and that's kind of our big thing. We have weird traditions. We've kind of set up weird traditions because things have been so crazy for us. So going to IKEA is one of our traditions, and we have a bear. His name is Sven, who came from IKEA, and we take him back to IKEA every year. My husband, that's one of his things. I don't know. I go along with it. But we take him back to IKEA to see where he came from. His name is Sven. He's a Swedish exchange bear. And I don't feel like I should tell you guys that, but whatever. Our life is weird. But we just go and we just enjoy the decorations and, buy one or two small things. Because again, our finances are always shot around this time of year. So I don't know. We're going to go to IKEA next weekend. So that'll be fun. And I'm vegetarian. I try to be vegan as often as possible. But I eat meatballs at IKEA because they're so freaking good. So it's just part of it, you have to. So, still working on it. As far as, I can tell you what I'm really very excited about, though, is not what I've been working on this lunar cycle from new moon to full, which is enjoying the holidays. I've kind of been more in touch with the waning energy of the sun. And so this year I get really introverted and really quiet, and I think about planning for 2017. I think, the next year, which, in this case is 2017. And every year for the past couple of years, I have done the Leonie Dawson planners, the Create Your Shining Year books, and they're amazing. They're really good, but, excuse me, every year is kind of the same thing, and I can't afford them this year. So, I don't know. So I'm going to do some sort of planning along those lines, but I'm going to just use a notebook. I have a stack I'm looking at of 10 notebooks. I collect them obsessively in the back to school sales. So, I'm just going to do it by hand, write it by hand. It's not going to be cute. It's not going to be pretty. I might try to make it cute. I might try to make it pretty. I don't know if I care, honestly. But I'm going to plan in that vein and think about the things that I really want to accomplish. A lot of the things that I take from those planners are the list of 100 things that you put on your bucket list for the year. That's going to be on there. having a word that kind of encapsulates what you want to accomplish for the year. I'm going to be doing that. I think I'm going to plan month by month and season by season different tarot readings that I want to do, different goals that I have. Goals for these videos that I'm doing. And I'm also going to start working on an Etsy page. I'm going to start doing tarot readings professionally, and I'm really jazzed about that. It's something that, like, I have needed to do for a while because I love reading for people, and people keep telling me, I keep giving people readings, and they're like, this is really good, you need to do this professionally. So fine, I'm kind of like, I'm listening now. So it's just time for me to do it. So I'm really excited about what's coming up in 2017, even though my energy is really waning with the waning of the sun. So I've got good things coming up. I've got things to look forward to, despite the fact that it is cold, it is dark, I'm in pain, whatever. It's all about, that's kind of the time that you need to go within and kind of like gestate some ideas. So, so anyways, full moon is in Gemini, and, that's a good time for communication, for, finding the truth of things, kind of looking at the different sides of an argument or, a debate, weighing the pros and cons. Finding the rational truth about things, communication, and it is about a duality. It is about two things, working with two things. It's actually a very similar energy to Libra, in the weighing, but Geminis love to argue. I've had some really good Gemini friends, and we've had some great discussions, we'll call them. But yeah, that's kind of what the energy of this moon is. And again, I'm kind of introverting, and I'm not really doing a lot of super hardcore communication like I have been, but I'm trying to make sure that the communicating that I'm doing counts. So yeah. So anyway, something to think about. So, I was going to say that I'm going to make some teas for you. I've already made them. I already filmed them. They turned out really kind of amazing, so I'm pretty proud of these recipes. One was given to me by a friend. Thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate you. And one came out of my brain. So that's it. Hope you guys have a great full moon. Enjoy the full moon. And I'll get to the teas. Blessed be. Bye-bye. Hey guys, okay, so here is the first tea that I'm making, and this was sent to me by my friend Lisa, this recipe, and she suffers from a lot of the same things I do. She has fibro and arthritis, and we've kind of bonded over that because this time of year is super, super rough when you have a lot of chronic pain stuff. And so she sent me this tea to make, and I'm going to make it, and I'm going to try it tonight and see. I was actually going to brew it and drink it on camera so everyone could see, so I could say what it tastes like, but I realized a lot of these ingredients will put me to sleep, and maybe that's not the best idea. So I have things still to do tonight. So anyway, she said it is good for fibro, it's good for arthritis, it's good for bone pain, and she reminded me something I wouldn't necessarily have thought to say. Be sure to check these ingredients on WebMD. Okay, look them up, look for drug interactions, look for sensitivities or allergies. For example, if you're allergic to ragweed, you don't want to use chamomile. Chamomile is you're going to have a reaction. And it's not good for pain relief if you're having a really bad allergy attack. So, something to keep an eye on. I don't tend to be like super sensitive to things like that. I have a lot of allergies, but not to things like this, so I wouldn't have thought of it. So thank you, Lisa. She's a smart cookie. So anyways, I am adding one ingredient too at the end, so I will show you what that is. So I am deviating from her recipe a little bit, but it's just an herb that I had that I felt like it needed to be in this. So okay, so she says to start with 2 or 3 parts of chamomile, and I happen to have this. Oh, it smells so good. I love chamomile. So we're doing heaping teaspoons. That is our part. So 3 parts of chamomile. Okay, 1 part lavender. And you'll notice that with these, a lot of these are good for sleep as well. Lavender and chamomile specifically being really good for sleep. And I don't think that's an accident. You know, a lot of times we just need to calm down. The more calm we can be, the more our pain is under control. And this is actually culinary lavender that my husband picked up. I actually buy culinary grade lavender, and I've got pounds of this stuff, but he picked this up not knowing that I already had like culinary grade. So we just happen to have this in the freezer, so it's nice and fresh. So I'm using that. So it already smells amazing. I love lavender. And again, you know, lavender and chamomile are both good for just calming down, for relaxing. Then sage, and sage is good for just like everything. Sage is actually really good. My sister used to make a just pure sage tea. Ah, smells good. For in the winter to help with coughs and colds and that sort of thing. So again, that was 2 parts chamomile, 1 part lavender, 1 part sage, 1 part elderflower. Haven't even opened these. These should be in a jar. I don't like keeping my stuff in plastic because I feel like it doesn't stay as fresh, but I know that these are, I got these fairly recently. Yeah, and it smells amazing, so we're good. So, 1 part elderflower. It's kind of like, there's a lot of yellow and lavender in here. It's kind of bright and sunny, and it just, it kind of feels good, so. Now this is something that she recommended for people who have seasonal affective disorder, and I do. So this is actually an old batch, however, it still smells really good. I mean, this is maybe 8 or 9 years old, but it smells amazing. And since it's a root, roots tend to lose their essential oils and their potency a lot slower than like flowers or leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. I don't feel bad. It was well sealed. It has been in a dark, quiet place in my herb cabinet, so I don't feel bad about that. But this is Angelica root specifically. And again, according to Lisa, it's good for seasonal affective disorder. I've never used it for that, so I'm really excited to see, because I do deal with some seasonal affective disorder, as I've, described. It's kind of hard when your body falls apart when the weather gets cold. It's really hard not to get a little down with that. Now here's the ingredient that I'm adding. This is my own specific, or my own addition to this. And yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. Oops. Let me make sure my camera's still centered. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Yeah, I've got like a weird setup here. My little scaffold that my phone sits on to record is not great, so I have white willow bark. I have a lot of white willow bark. In all honesty, maybe just try to get rid of this because I ordered way too much white willow bark, and I made a tincture out of this that I use sometimes, and I'll put like a spoonful of the tincture in my tea for pain relief. And if you don't know, this is where aspirin comes from. So it is an anti-inflammatory. It is, a pain reliever. Not a super strong one, but it does kind of add to that. So yeah, I just felt like that would work really well with, with this tea. However, the flavor's not great. It's kind of aspirin-y. So I'm just going to use like 1 part of that. Look at how fluffy and nice that is. So yeah, at this point, like I should be, I don't know, I should find a bunch of people to send a bunch of willow bark to, because I will never use all this. And it's from Mountain Rose, which I love. Their herbs are always ethically sourced. They're always organic. It's really just the best place to order from, because you know that they've done a lot of that legwork for you. I do a lot of incenses where the resins are from non-renewable resources, but they do a lot of legwork to find the best ethical sources for things like that. So I really like Mountain Rose a lot. So I'm just going to move that around, get it kind of mixed up a little bit. And actually, yeah, I should be doing counterclockwise because this is to reduce pain. So Oh, and it smells amazing. I can't wait to brew this up. I'm totally making some of this tonight. And I use an infuser, like a tea infuser. You could use this in a tea ball or in a reusable tea bag made out of muslin. If you don't have that, you could use like a brand new clean knee-high. You know, that gets expensive after a while. I don't recommend that. But I have an infuser cup where you just put a spoonful of this in the cup, fill it up with water, knock the top down, and it sits and brews, and then you put it on top of your teacup, and it kind of feeds from the bottom. And Lisa did say, when you make this, you want to let it infuse for 15 to 20 minutes, and put a lid on it, you know, so it keeps the heat in. And yeah, she said it also helps you sleep, which again, the chamomile and the lavender, perfect for that. So yeah, I'm going to sit with this. I'm going to kind of project some intentions into this, and I will be back. Okay. So yeah, this, I mean, oh my god, it smells amazing. I can't wait. Yeah, and I'm also starting to get a little bit of a cold. My husband keeps coming home with colds, and then I end up with it, so I'm really hoping this will be kind of soothing for that as well. So I have these tins, and we're just going to get that in there. And I've gotten to the point, like I have so many things. I have this huge old herb kind of curio cabinet that my great-grandmother actually made. She actually made her own furniture. She was an amazing woman. So I've got this enormous cabinet just filled with all these herbs. And a lot of them are labeled, like, you know, here's some sage that I had gotten. You know, I try to label everything really well. But I kind of have this problem where when I make things, I don't tend to label them that well. And so I end up with like this bag or packet or tin or jar of this herbal concoction that I can tell is like obviously an incense or obviously a tea. I do a lot of incenses. But I have no idea what it is. So we're going to go ahead and label this. That's not a lot. I kind of wish I had made double the batch, but I'm going to try it out and see how it is. And then I you know, obviously have the stuff to make more. So we're going to use our little label maker. Alrighty, so this is pain. I'm just going to say pain tea. And we're going to hope that we've got enough. Yeah, we do. Alright. That went better than I thought. I thought I was going to be out of the sticker stuff. And then at some point, we'll get that separated. There we go. And there we go. Alrighty. Okay, so that was our first tea, and I'm going to come back with all the ingredients and make the second tea, which is to open our third eye, okay? It's to really develop our psychic senses. And I'm making this as a gift for my mother and my sister for Yule. And I'm also going to keep some for me. And I may send some to a friend. So I will be back with that. Bye. Hey guys. Okay, here is the second part. And here I'm going to be doing some... I'm calling it third eye tea. It's really just basically a tea that will help you open up your psychic senses. And I have to tell my mom and my sister not to watch this video because this is going to be a gift for them for Yule. So I gotta kind of keep this on the DL, so we'll see how that goes. So yeah, so anyways, I'm just putting this together. Like, I just researched some herbs, and I like to just formulate things kind of off the cuff. This isn't from anyone's recipe. This is my own recipe. So yeah, so my husband, who is amazing, and I've mentioned it before, he goes and gets ingredients for me, found me some delicious yarrow flower. So yarrow has been used traditionally to open up your, you know, psychic senses. It's used, the yarrow stalks are used in China for the I Ching, so it's always kind of had that association with it. So I think I'm actually going to double this recipe because I've got 3 tins to fill up, so Yeah, I think it's better to have too much than not enough. So we're going to do 4 teaspoons of this. And I'm not really going to grind these a lot because a lot of the extraction is going to happen when the water hits the tea. And these actually, I mean, these are actually pretty fine. I don't think they need to be ground. I'm just going to, you know, it couldn't hurt to do it just to put a little bit of intention into it, but I don't think that it needs a lot of hardcore grinding. Some of these ingredients do, but like the yarrow, I don't think so. So going clockwise to increase our psychic senses. And again, I've mentioned before this, if I do too much of this, it hurts my hands. So again, I'm kind of going to do like a light going over on this. So yeah, so anyways, that's good. We're calling that good for the yarrow. So 4 parts of yarrow. Okay. And again, this recipe is doubled. So if, you know, this is, I'm making a lot, make half this. Like if it's just for you or you just want to try it. If you just want to try it, you know, even, you know, take it down to 1/4. 2 parts of bay. And that's kind of harder to figure out because it's not already ground. So we're going to take... Let's see, so I need about as much bay as I need of the yarrow. So I don't know, we're gonna try that. This may take a while, so I may actually cut off the camera for this because yeah, I don't feel like these are gonna grind down really good, and these actually may go. You know, I've mentioned I use a coffee grinder for a lot of the stuff to save my hands. I feel like the bay is maybe gonna go into a coffee grinder. You know what? Actually, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're just going to sit here and break it up. So, bay was used... Oh yeah, this is working great, actually. I don't know why I didn't think about this. Bay was used by the Oracle at Delphi. And they would position... The oracles would position this 3-legged stool over this kind of fissure in this cave, right? And up through this fissure would come the steam. And it was... You know, very clearly a, you know, a geological, you know, like something you would find at Yellowstone, like a geological feature, volcanic feature. So, but anyways, they would add bay leaves to the steam somehow. I guess they drop them in. I don't know. Whatever. Bay leaves, Oracle at Delphi. Bay leaves are associated with Apollo, who was kind of like the patron of the Oracle at Delphi. Bay leaves associated with psychic visions. So I went like a long way to get there, didn't I? And they smell amazing. Yeah, and it's weird. Like, I never liked to cook with bay leaves because, I don't know, I always like ended up like getting one in my soup and then eating it without realizing and then choking on it. So I always had kind of like a beef with bay leaves, but I don't know. I really like them. Now I'm starting to cook with them again. I'm just, you know, not as quick to eat stuff without like looking at it first. So this is not the kind of thing you want to use like if you're at a pagan gathering and you're cooking in the middle of the night, you know, around a fire and you can't really see what's in your bowl. Which I hate eating like that anyways. I like to know what's in my bowl or on my plate or whatever. But yeah, this is not an herb for that, so leave the bay leaves out. And I've actually been seeing where a lot of people have been writing wishes on bay leaves and then burning them, which I find really interesting because for me, burning is something I use for banishment, not something I use to kind of like bring something in, but I do like the idea of like releasing it into the universe, you know, like on smoke, you know what I mean? So that's kind of a cool thing, so. Yes, it's going much better than trying to grind it. And again, my intention is that when you drink this tea, clear visions will come to you. It will help open your third eye, help to activate your psychic senses. My mom and sister are kind of coming to this through for different reasons. My sister is always interested in just, you know, psychic visions. I'm not, it's kind of weird in our family, I'm not very psychically sensitive at all. you know, I'm meditative, and I have kind of really intense dreams. You know, some dreams are like a little bit more intense and a little bit more real seeming than others. But I've never like seen things or heard things or known things. Well, sometimes I know things ahead of time, but it's just not my strength. Now, they tend to be a little bit more psychically open. They see spirits. They, you know, all those things. I'm going to add a lot more of that in. But I've just never had that gift. So yes, I'm keeping some of this for myself as well. So maybe I can develop that. I've always done, you know, I've done well with scrying or with tarot reading. Like I'm really good at tarot reading. My mom is really good at kind of seeing spirits. My sister is amazing at astrology. So we all have kind of our strengths. And again, you know, mine is more dreaming. They tend to talk to our relatives who have passed, whereas I don't. I sometimes will see them in a dream, and I feel like that dream was sent. You know, it seems more true than another dream where they just kind of show up. So I get those rarely. But yeah, so my mom is kind of coming to this. She is wanting to speak with my stepfather, who passed in June. She's been trying really hard to communicate with him. She talks to her father, who passed about 3.5 years ago, I guess. She talks to him all the time. But she's really been trying to get in touch with my stepdad, and it has not been working out for her. So I'm hoping this will help. You know, at the very least, it'll get them into a relaxed, meditative state of mind. And my sister is just, you know, trying to develop her gifts. She wants to start reading astrology professionally. And I'm kind of going the other way. I'm wanting to start reading tarot professionally. So very soon, I hope to have, I hope by January to have my Etsy page up where I'll be offering readings. So hopefully this will help with that. And I'm doing the Bewitching the Cards videos, you know, in an effort to like really just teach myself and kind of refresh my knowledge of tarot and get better and better and better at it, so that, you know, I'm offering value to my clients. So all right, so Bay, yeah, sorry that one took so long. The grinding doesn't really help, but all right. So Bay leaves. All right, and I apologize for my husband coughing in the background. He's got a cold. I'm getting his cold, so it's just gonna get worse and worse. So okay, now this is something I always have around, and I found like 3 jars of this. I use mugwort a lot, and I do use it for tarot reading. I use it for scrying with a scrying mirror. I use it for anything where I'm trying to, you know, have some sort of opening of the third eye. So, of course it was going to go in this tea. So, this does not need to be ground, so I'm going to do 1, 2... I meant to do 4 parts of this. I think I'm going to do 3 because it's really, I'm getting a lot out of a spoonful with this. So we're going to go 3 on this. And let me write that down and change my recipe while I'm thinking about it, or else I will forget. Alrighty. So yeah, I actually like to look like visually and just kind of see, because you can kind of tell the proportions of things. And I like to get an idea of things that way, to kind of see, like, you know, and you want all these magical ingredients. You also don't want it to taste like ass. I mean, if you like tea that tastes like ass, more power to you. Do whatever you want to, but mugwort is bitter. Yarrow is a little bit bitter. Bay leaves are going to be good. Bay leaves are going to taste fine. So, you know, you kind of want a little bit more bay leaf to kind of make it, you know, something that you enjoy drinking. So it shouldn't be a job. Now, this other thing, this is extremely bitter. Very, very, very bitter. So I'm just going to use 2 teaspoons of this. Oops. And I use mugwort and wormwood in conjunction a lot. I think that it may be from Scott Cunningham. But it's something that I've always kind of done. I think I found the recipe in Scott Cunningham and then just stuck with it. So alrighty. Alrighty, so there is the wormwood. And wormwood, again, very, very, very bitter, so I want to go a little bit light on that, but It is great. Mugwort and wormwood, the combination especially, is great for just opening up your psychic senses. So, good to have around. Okay. Now, I'm going to add cinnamon, and I'm going to pretend like I'm going to crush this up. It's probably not going to happen, so you laugh along with me. I don't want to powder it, though. Like, I don't want to put it through the coffee grinder because I don't feel like, you know, because then you get powder all on your tea, and that's not fun. So, anyways, we're going to go with 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And I've got these nice little kind of cinnamon bits, and these are actually cinnamon and not cassia. Which cassia is a little bit different, still has the same properties. So, I mean, you can use cassia, but a lot of cinnamon that you find is just cassia that's being passed off as cinnamon. But this is pure cinnamon, so I'm going to crush this up a little bit. And cinnamon just kind of raises the spiritual vibration, and it does help open your psychic senses. So yeah, I kind of wanted to bring some spirituality into it, so, you know, if nothing else, I'm just crushing these and kind of, I'm going to fast forward through this because I'm sure this is going to get loud, so. Alright, I did absolutely nothing to this cinnamon. I don't know, whatever, throw it in. It's all about experimentation. Okay. Now, jasmine. I wanted to use a lot of jasmine, but I don't have a lot of jasmine. I actually bought this for an incense I made a couple months ago, and if you've never used jasmine flowers in incense, the scent is very unique. It smells a lot like you're burning your old socks. I don't recommend it. Like, I don't know, you know, like if you like the scent of burning old socks, then by all means, just like go for it. But I don't recommend it. I don't like it. So we're going to use it for this tea. And let's see. I'm going to use 3 teaspoons of this. And I'm using the jasmine just because the jasmine, actually I'm going to use 4. Jasmine connects to the moon. It is a very lunar flower. And I want that in this tea. I want it to connect to the moon, to the more feminine qualities of the moon, including, you know, your psychic senses, your, you know, clairvoyance, things that are hidden, things that are unknown, because that's really what we're trying to get at here. So it will taste delicious. Jasmine has been an ingredient in tea for, you know, thousands of years. But I feel like it's also going to bring out that kind of undercurrent of lunar energy, psychic energy, feminine mysteries, that sort of thing, and we want that, so. And this is actually crushing way better than the cinnamon did, so that's good. And I don't want it to be powdered because I don't want the powder to come out in the tea, but I do want it to be crushed up enough to where it, like, really, the water can get to it and soak through it and, you know, extract everything from it, so. Alright. So there is our jasmine. Oh, it smells, oh my god, it smells good because there's still a little bit of cinnamon in there. So the cinnamon and the jasmine is like outstanding together, so. Alrighty, last thing. I'm making 3 batches of this because I'm making some for my sister, some for my mother, and some for me. And I already see that I'm going to have to do more. So we're going to call this 2 batches. It's going to fit in these same tins that I used for the pain tea. We're going to call this 2 batches. And let's see. I got everything else. So I'm going to add 1 anise star for each serving, if you will. I'm going to crunch these up. God, these smell so good. I love these. Oh, it's just amazing. So I'm going to, these are kind of mangled, so I'm going to throw like another little part or 2, if I can find one. Okay, we're going to throw this tiny one in there. So I wanted to do 1 for each batch because the anise really is, it's going to take over. And I don't necessarily want this to be like, whoa, anise tea. But again, if it turns out to be whoa, anise tea, that's not a bad thing because anise is delicious. And I've got to really pound this, so I'm going to go quiet. So actually, I'm going to fast forward this. Alrighty. Okay, wow, that really went faster and easier than I thought it would. So yeah, man, that is potent. It smells so good. I love this stuff. So yeah, this is going to be a good addition, so. But I didn't want to overdo it because anise is like kind of strong, so. Oh, actually, here's a seed. Let me crush the seed up real quick. Add that. Oh. As quick, that crushed really easily, so. I think actually part of it went and hit the wall behind me, so. Again, it's all about experimentation. I am not a professional. I'm sure this, sort of thing happens even to the professionals, so. Even to the professionals, so. Alrighty, let me smell. Man, that is going to be amazing. And the anise does kind of overpower everything, but it also brings everything together. I don't think necessarily in a bad way. So, fortunately, my mom and my sister both like licorice. So, they're going to be fine with this. Yeah, so, anyways, I'm going to stir this a little bit, put some intentions into it, and I will be back in a minute, so. Alrighty, so, man, that smells amazing. It smells so, so, so good. Really proud of that one. Okay, so, here we go. And, you know what? I think this is 2 helpings. I think what I'm going to get another tin. I'm going to make 2 more helpings, and I'm going to send some of this to a friend. For the holidays, so. I'm trying not to get it everywhere, but it's, of course, getting everywhere. And yeah, I'm getting herbs everywhere because that's what I do. That's how this goes. So, man, I could make some more too. It's not like a lot of tea, is it? Okay, here's where we improvise. I make mugwort tea all the time. And actually the mugwort on its own does not taste too bad. So, we're going to bulk this out with a little bit more mugwort. Okay. Yeah, because really the mugwort to me is kind of like the active ingredient. It's what I use and have used for like forever when doing any kind of a psychic work. And actually, I was celebrating Samhain with a coven that's local, that I sometimes celebrate the Sabbats with them. They're amazing. They're great people. I really love them. But my practice is just primarily solitary. It's, nothing against them. It's just I tend to find my spirituality by myself. So we made scrying mirrors for Samhain. And so I added mugwort and wormwood to behind the glass in the scrying mirror. So again, these are just very ubiquitous for me. I always use these. So, and I think we're gonna add another little half spoonful of cinnamon, because cinnamon's great. Like, it's got a little bit of bark in there. You can't go wrong with cinnamon. Cinnamon's good in tea. Cinnamon's good in everything. Again, it'll raise that spirituality. Oh god, it smells so good. I can't even tell you. So yeah, okay, I feel good about that. So, third eye tea. Alrighty, hopefully I've got enough to print 2 of these. 3 of these, really. Actually 4 if I'm making... because I want to label mine as well, but if I don't get a pretty label, I'll just write it on there with Sharpie because I'm not too picky about stuff like that, so... yeah, looks like we're good. Okay, sweet. Alrighty, so that was the Bewitching the Moon for the full moon today on December 13th at 7:05. I think it's actually 7:05 right now, so this is going to be released after the full moon, but that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you use these recipes. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have other additions that you would have liked to have made to these teas, things that have worked for you. I'm always, you know, I always like to learn when I can, so that's it. Hope you guys have a great full moon, and blessed be. Bye-bye. Just so you guys know, this is how I edit. This is Baron. I would like to say that he's helpful. He's not very helpful. Yeah, super cute though. Hi, Baron. You want to say hi? Say hi. Oh god. Okay, that was a close-up of the double chin. Okay, blessed be. And bye.